Welcome, everyone, to the 6873 show. We did have a little bit of a hiccup last week, but we are back in full production, and we are so happy to have everyone here. We're actually going to be touching on what happened last week and even some of the ramifications of that. So our subject for today is actually going to be Facebook. What happened out of the power outage or the outage, some of the ramifications, some new tech coming out that actually might help with that. So stay tuned with us. I think we're going to have a very interesting show. So anyway, my name is Captain Wren. We also have...
I'm Rossi, and we have...
Ion. And instead of Toki today, she felt very sick. So we're not going to force her to come on here or do anything like that. So in her place...
We tried.
We have... Kanali.
Hi, I'm Kanal.
Which is like a brother to her. But we decided to bring him on the show and see how he'll do.
Now, remember, you're feeling some pretty big shoes, so just remember, if anything goes wrong, it says, "For fuck's sakes, Ren!" That's your job from here on out.
That or really, Rossi, really?
Mm-hmm. Really, Rossi?
Really?
Mm-hmm. Really.
Got it.
Really?
All right, so... As you guys probably know, last week there was a little bit of a hiccup with Facebook. They're still not really saying exactly what happened. I actually watched some of their press releases and stuff like that. They're still saying that it was a DSN error that brought down basically an entire global network. Everything that is even mildly associated with Facebook did go down. The WhatsApp, Snapchat, Facebook itself, everyone had access, which was kind of strange because I was actually talking to some people and it actually got some of the reports that intermediately there was a few people that were still able to log in and use their Oculuses, and even a couple were still able to log in and use their Facebook. There was no real pattern to it, but it was only like maybe 0.01% were actually able to do that. But one thing that kind of scares me, one of the things that we touch on is how the Facebook website or server being down, how it basically bricked not only so many people's quests, but entire businesses. There was a report that came out that said over 400 million businesses actually had to shut down for 4 hours until Facebook came back. That is a lot of lost revenue. There was even talk about Facebook themselves. Because of their security systems, were actually unable to even get into their own server base because it was not able to go through the Facebook server. So, yeah, some very, very interesting things. Definitely some concerns were brought out of this. Probably a lot of things that Facebook probably didn't want known. How much they actually get into people's lives. Because with Facebook server going down and literally affecting so many aspects. Yeah. This was huge. It was like, oh, go ahead.
Honestly, I still believe that this was a cyber attack.
A lot of people are actually still pointing that because they're still vague on it.
Yeah, well, there was an article I read where
there is no way you can shut down an entire system for less than 4 hours and then come back up saying, "Oops, it was this." There's no possible way.
Yeah, the investigation that we needed would be more than what was there, because if they couldn't even get into the building to fix it, then they're going to need more than that 4 hours to find what the problem is, to fix it, and be able to have the publicity to explain what the problem was. It just doesn't make sense. And there was an article I read actually where even after Facebook came out with the statement of what the problem was, there was so much misinformation in the respect of it just sounded so far-fetched that the final thought at the end of it was no one's ruling out cyber attack.
Yes. Like that would be my biggest fear, because we already know there's like 7.6 billion people using Facebook right now. And that's not including the other platforms too. So if this was a full-on nation shutdown, like full-on world shutdown, it shouldn't have taken 4 hours to do it.
It shouldn't have. Well, I mean, it does bring up us quite a bit of security issues too. Because do you remember what was it about a year ago or so, or not even a year ago? The pipelines was a cyber attack, literally shutting down oil pipelines, and this could be another variant of that. But I mean, this is something that it also brings up a lot of concerns because you have basically one company that is controlling so much power over our daily lives. I mean, half the world's population, when you think about that, staggering, is on Facebook and is affected by it by one way or another.
Yeah. Yes. It's like how can I put this in a different way certain people understand? If you remember the Pepe meme, like Pepe the Frog, there is another character that is no longer allowed on Facebook. Minions.
I thought you were going to say me.
No,
really,
that's me.
Really? There we go. There's the sign. But seriously, since the whole thing ended, you don't see any Minion posts. Nobody is sharing them.
Mm-hmm.
It's
well,
like
I mean,
there's
another
certain
thing too.
guidelines. There's certain guidelines that Facebook does have to follow. Like just yesterday, if anybody does know me, my real name and my real Facebook, I shit post every fucking day. I just make memes and just post them out there. And most of my stuff, whenever I logged back on, was gone. Because apparently they went past Facebook's guideline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what confused me, because all of the stuff I post is either historic or as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And they've all been removed. But the one thing that truly does confuse me is that they're attacking other people like that too. I'm not the only one who had that issue.
Yeah.
And this all started since the crash.
Well, the thing is, too, what I find interesting is they'll take out Minions, they'll take out this other stuff, and they'll take out certain memes. But, like, even for me, on my Facebook page and stuff like that, I mean, it is primarily 99.99% is furry, which, I mean, is just furry crap. But, I also have a little bit of a prepper side, too, and not crazy, crazy guy in the woods, stuff like that. But, they will take out the menu stuff like that, but what they decide to put in my news feed, I'm horrified by. Like, I'm looking at the stuff like, I don't want to. You're letting this through to, and it's just stuff that literally is horrifying.
Yeah,
it's like they're trying to exacerbate that particular group to whatever.
Yeah, like if I say. Continue.
I was just saying that moves on to the current whistleblower or Facebook whistleblower. I was watching. It's a 3-hour long thing where she's presenting to Congress, and I've only watched about an hour of it so far because it's so long. But she was talking about the algorithms that they use and that they cater for just piling in loads of crap. It doesn't really fit the narrative of trying to wean out shit and nasty things. It's just all about just firing in what gets reactions, firing in what gets any kind of like, whether it's good publicity or bad put teeth back in.
English
publicity.
It's
English,
okay. There is another thing to that too. Think of the Clintons. There was so much stuff going on for them that they got such a bad rap because we all know about Jeffrey Epstein's not dead thing, and you see photos of Hillary Clinton right on the bottom half of it saying 50,000 emails deleted. That's the kind of publicity, even I can't say it, but that's the kind of thing you see. You see more negatives than positives on your news feeds, your Facebook, and stuff like that.
And that's one of the things is she was going over to is be damned the ramifications of basically throwing gasoline on a fire, because negative comments attract more attention. So people will stay on, make more money, and even though they're it's not like an evil plan. It's like we're going to do this to destroy nations, stuff like that. It simply comes down to $1. And if that means people die doing it, you have a company that's okay with that.
Yep. Think of Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
There's employees there who have been working there since their doors opened. And this came from personal experience from my grandfather. He worked there since Sir Walt opened his first Walmart. And he passed away a few years ago, God rest his soul. But literally only thing they did was put up a picture of him on the wall. Even then, they still charged us for the frame.
Are you kidding?
What? Jesus.
Oh my word. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's corporations.
It's kind of fucked up because it's corporations.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the one thing that some people fail to realize is like these big corporations like Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that are more worth they want their money than they want their people.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Dollars come first.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the problem is that is what they're there for. They're there to make money. They're not there to make friends. So I'm not saying it's right.
That's true.
So by any means,
Yeah.
I'm just saying a corporation, a company, or whoever it is, they're there. Their primary goal is to make money, which understandable. They want to make themselves richer. Again, I'm not saying it's morally correct, but it's there.
Yes.
For fuck's sake, Ren, your phone.
Sorry.
we bleep that out.
Turn on mute.
Recording.
There we go.
Oh.
We just ignore it.
Well, then you tell me.
The thing about wearing cargo pants is you can put your phone in the pocket down here and you can easily get your phone out. Cargo pants rock. I don't care what anyone says.
You're wearing pants.
You don't have to look.
All right, off subject, guys.
Oh my god, he fits in perfectly. He fits in so fucking perfectly.
He's a doggy.
Anyways, let's get back to the subject because this is actually going to get more deeper throughout this whole episode because there's some personal things behind it and some physical things too. Because we already know there's no way in hell Facebook can shut down for more than 4 hours without notifying or telling anything.
Yeah, it was just an instant like, ding, not there anymore. Well, I mean, it was even scary
some kind of report.
Exactly. And especially even so far afterwards, what we've got, because since it is such a huge business, there still is no transparency with them, and they still won't allow anyone into, what went. All we're relying on is what the Facebook team themselves wants to release, and that has been, even still to this date, has been sketchy at best, and it doesn't really say what went wrong. And another thing too is, yes, it is a corporation; it is for profit. But when you have such a powerful organization with really no checks and balances, that's why the lady that's been in court recently, saying, "Hey, there is no checks and balances. They can literally control government decisions. They can control societies. In fact, in Africa, there was literally wars had started and people died over Facebook posts and them communicating through Facebook. And most of it was, unfortunately, misinformation. They say that they're against misinformation and stuff. but actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
To be fair, I've always known that Facebook have been absolutely shite at their moderating of content and things like that. Because I think I was telling you earlier, back when I used to use Facebook, I posted a picture to some friends, and it was a take the piss hybrid motorcycle, and it was literally a picture of this big chubby guy sat on the top of a clapped out moped with a jumbo-sized tin of baked beans in front of him, and he's sort of stood upright with his trousers down and his arse showing, but he's got a traffic cone against his arse like an exhaust pipe. And so it's, hybrid, take the piss, the beans, it creates wind and it blows it rather than electricity. And you could clearly see it with the take the piss picture. Well, I got a notification that they took it down because they classed it as sexual content. What the fuck? Okay, I know there's some kinky fuckers out there that are into some weird shit, but traffic cone up the arse? Okay. That's fair like to you.
Exactly.
That's like me with my history photo. Everybody knows about the whole coronavirus, gator papers, and everything. I made a small little joke with a little bit of history. It had 2 World War II Nazi commanders standing next to each other. It was like, hey, can we see your paperwork? And there was a little joke on the bottom half of it. I gotta find the photo again. But it was literally removed 8 times. It's had my Facebook banned.
Oh my
just
word.
Because of it, just making a joke about the conversation of that you need your card just to get to certain places. But that's what's relying right now on Facebook. All you see is just all these memes that don't get reported that should be reported, and the ones that are not beyond that point are not being reported.
Well, that's what I think. And so much of this has to do with the algorithm Facebook uses and what gets the most hits. And unfortunately, hate speech, anything that drives hatred, it engages almost as good as sex. The term sex sells. Hatred sells more. And that's what they put on, because even like mine, I mean, 99% of my stuff was furry stuff, with just a little bit of, have a year supply of food, because you just never know when you might lose your job or something. Be prepared. But I was classed in that, some would say radical, simply because of having a little bit of preparedness for floods, whatever, and just stuff you can't control. And so they started, that algorithm hit me, well, he's one of these dissidents, so we're going to start feeding him with all this stuff to keep him on Facebook. And I was, most of the stuff they put on here, I was completely appalled by. And most of the stuff they put on there was clearly not fact-based. Fine. It was horrible.
Content control.
Content control. If you control people's content, but and they don't realize if you control the content, you control society.
True. But that's also bringing up another big picture. It's like you have all your furry stuff on your Facebook and these certain survival things. Then there's people, me and Rossi. We talk about car parts, bike parts, and stuff like that. And out of nowhere, you just see feeds of nothing like, here's this part, you need this part, and you need this part. And it's just like, it's a conversation starter. If you have like an Alexa or Google or anything like that, they are 24/7 recording you.
Oh God, yeah.
And pigeons are cameras.
I always remember. I always remember that thing that made me chuckle the most, and it really sort of opened my eyes with it. Was
dun, dun, dun.
I had Facebook was always on my either my iPad or my phone, and then I was using my computer to order some items from a shop over in the UK. People probably know it, called Argos. So I was ordering stuff on there, but weirdly, I was using that on a completely separate piece of equipment.
Device.
I hadn't got Facebook on. Yeah, I didn't have Facebook on my PC at all. Facebook was only on my iPad and my phone. But yet, when I went onto Facebook afterwards, it came up in my newsfeed the items that I'd ordered. Do you want to order these? And from Argos. And I was like, that's fucking scary. Yeah.
It is.
Now,
if I'd have done it on the same device, I could sort of understand because there's a linkage in some way, but it was on a completely separate piece of equipment. And you're like,
now remember one thing. Now, the
Hmm.
one thing that I've learned over time is like the search history, your Gmail, stuff like that. If you have it logged on
If
to
I
more
die,
than one
click on
device,
my
it
browser
will
history.
transfer it over to another device.
Yes, with the
Yeah, I didn't
Google
even
stuff
have
like that.
that.
Keep really.
So two
it
separate
was
emails.
literally. I didn't even have an email address set up on the PC at all. All of my email again was on my tablet, on my phone.
Oh, that's scary.
Again, I had no linking from the PC to my device. So that was the only thing I could think of that they were doing it was through, the internet itself for the location of where the internet, because all the devices are on the same hub for
Wavelength.
Wi-Fi. Yeah,
Wavelengths,
So-
basically.
yeah.
Right. The
So,
same
if they're able to
address
do it in-
leading off to
Mm.
Yeah,
the
your
same
IP address.
devices.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's one of the things that was brought on by this shutdown too, is how much is actually going through the Facebook servers and the routers. Because like even just for the Quest, the platform that we all enjoy via VR chat is not associated with Facebook. The only thing that they have with Facebook is simply they have an app on the Oculus Store. But none of us could log into any of these loginable apps, even though they had nothing technically to do with Facebook. That means that everything we're doing right now is going through a Facebook server and being recorded.
Oh, they're going to be sadly interrupted. So many freaking memes.
Yes. Glory to the memes. But I think
there
it's okay.
With Facebook, they're having to go through so many different things. So having to weed out what is acceptable or not, or hey, it's this app, it's that app. It's trying to figure out which one they'll get the most money out of. They're leaving VR chat alone right now because they're not seeing the money in it. They're seeing all of it in the hate on Facebook and other social platforms.
Exactly.
And we're
but
just
even
sitting here
like
talking bullshit.
Zuckerberg, we want you on the show.
We don't want to be zucked and fucked.
Yes, no zucked and fucks.
Come on, Ion, really?
But I mean, it does there was people who couldn't even log into another virtual platform on their Quest, which is actually a Microsoft platform, so it has nothing to do. There's no connection there. But yet, this was a specifically Microsoft application on the Quest, but they still couldn't log in because it wasn't going through the Facebook filters.
Yes.
Which I just found very, very interesting.
I'm so ready.
Well,
for
that's a nice thing.
Drop.
So, what they've taken down this beautiful name, Oculus Con or whatever, and then now it's Facebook Realities. But that's going to be happening here very, very soon, and they are actually they've hinted at dropping the Quest Pro at that show. But what I found interesting is there's probably going to be 5 to 6 headsets be dropping just within the next year. But I do know that there's probably 2 headsets that are going to be announced just before Facebook Reality Labs has their convention. There's also Steam has hinted, as of right now, they've only hinted at it, but they've also hinted at dropping their standalone headset just before Facebook Reality Con. And everyone I've talked to says Yeah, the Quest 2 is an amazing piece of technology. It is bar none. It's a game changer for a lot of different things. The price of it, the performance of it, yeah, everything about the equipment itself is fantastic. But everyone I've ever talked to says if they have an alternative, they're punting their Quests.
I just turned mine into an ashtray.
In fact, I've talked to a lot of people say that they.
I'm really looking at getting because now as I say, I link to PC and I'm plugged into a computer at the moment now. Although it's through virtual desktop, but I've got the cable plugged in because it's permanently charging, and so I don't have power loss and that lot. So technically, I'm tethered. So I'm just thinking I'm gonna bite the bullet and save up and get the whole higher spec PC and get a Valve Index.
They're also
all the.
Yeah, the Valve Index is an amazing headset. There's actually going to be a couple more. The Deco Gear showed a tremendous amount of promise, especially with the facial recognition. They have partial full body tracking, or they have hip tracking built into it with support for full body in the headset. It's a tethered headset. It's not a standalone. But it does so much, and it's a little bit cheaper too.
Oh yeah.
But the one I know from Steam, that's the one that I'm most excited about, because just what we know about it. Steam, of course, is a very, very secretive company. But what people have been finding out about, the little leaks and stuff like that, the Steam VR headset, when it comes out, is going to be a game changer. Like the Quest was for people getting people into virtual reality. The Steam, when it launches, is going to be, it'll bring us to practically that Ready Player One status. Because one of the things that it's talking at is you'll be able to play pretty much anything in the Steam store, including VR chat, at PC level, not mobile level. And yet it'll still be a standalone headset. So, and it's not going to be terribly expensive either. It'll be probably a little bit more than the Quest, but a lot of people I know says they don't care, just to have the actual ability to play that extra level. And strangely enough, a lot of people just not to have Facebook, because that's what brought the huge spike in Facebook users too, was just people buying the Quest. And now, so yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Now, I have heard rumors of the new headset that Facebook Reality is going to be pushing out. These are all rumors that I've heard so far, but this was from like a good source I know. The new headset is not going to be compatible to what we're doing now.
Really?
It's
I heard something about that too. Form. No kidding?
Yep. It'll basically take off this credibility of us, what we're doing right here, right now. And it's going to be putting it onto a different platform.
Well, see, I was kind of wondering about that now, because I know the Facebook Horizons, or what they're going to be rebranding as Facebook Worlds here pretty soon. Which is a crap platform. I was on it during the beta stages and stuff like that. It's crap. But I do see them wanting to try to maybe funnel people into that. And probably the Quest 2, since it's going to be that priority system, will if you want a social platform world or a metaverse, they're probably going to try to funnel people into that one specific world, which would be Facebook Worlds.
But here's the thing. You're going to have people from all over the world trying to get them to funnel into one solid platform. That's either going to be a really bad idea or a really good idea. Because if you think about it, how many Quest users are on right now?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Now, if you stop and think about it, people that can't really afford the new headset and they try to bring in this new development into the Quest 2, there's going to be a lot of issues, especially with graphics, settings, and stuff like that. But there's one thing a lot of people fail to realize. Once they get into one situation like VR chat in general here, they probably don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Because I know Kanali might stay here too. Razi might stay here, or he'll just get a better computer. But me, Ren, my missus, Toki, we might just stay here because we feel more comfortable. We actually enjoy it here. Yes, our limited is to its certain worlds, but it's the worlds we go to that make it much better.
The quality is better. Everything's better. There's more people here. I mean, as of right now, VR chat is the #1 largest community for VR, bar none.
Yes. Yes.
But I mean, we have our family here. We have our friends here. Many of us have businesses here. We actually make money out of VR chat. You have VR chat is vastly becoming a truly living world where people are, living. I mean, actually, in essence, living, making their incomes, everything else from this virtual society, and I don't see that going away anytime soon.
No.
Because with this platform, especially with their new platform they're coming out with, I don't see that taking off. Honestly. Because you have a bigger presence here than you would inside the new one.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is, too, is just the platform and stuff that they're... Because, okay, even like... Altspace is another virtual metaverse that I hang out in quite a bit, actually. It's nowhere near as big as VR chat, but you still have that. You have a system there that they've actually opened up a lot of systems to allow Unity worlds in there. They've allowed different things in here that VR chat has. Altspace is another very good platform, but they've actually had to open up stuff to match quality of the stuff that you find in VR chat. I don't see Facebook doing that because, they wouldn't have the control that they seek over that. Because, in Altspace and VR chat, you can literally create your own world. It is yours. You load it in, and you can do with it as you please.
Yes.
And where in the other ones, they're like highly, highly modern.
Just like avatars. Because you can create your own and push them out, see if people like them or not. Because that's where originally the Rexiums came out. The Rexiums didn't come into the furry fandom until we came into the virtual world.
Best Boys is another good example there.
Like Nana Cheese. Nana Cheese was another one that came out at the beginning of VR chat into the furry fandom. And yes, I'm pointing you out.
Oh, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Let's all take a moment. Let us all stare at the cuteness that is a Nanachi.
Really, guys? Really?
Really?
Oh shit, I hit that wall.
Really?
I hit that wall. Fuck.
And there's the IRL.
Oh.
Okay.
But it's not just in the furry fandom. There's actually a lot of different sub things that have come out of this creativity, this ability to create things without supervision, I guess you could say. Not just in the furry fandom, but in a lot of different fandoms, there's been things that's been uniquely come out of this and has benefited so many different people.
Yes. Especially with people with disabilities. That's another good thing about what happened to VR chat and somewhat to the Facebook realm. There's a lot of people who will sit there and judge people for who they are. But in here, you are who you are. You can have no legs, you can be somewhat armless or anything in the real world, and you can come in here and be like, I can finally move.
Everyone else.
I can walk again. I can be myself.
Well, you know, it was strange because I had actually watched a couple of documentaries about that, of how VR affects disabled people, and they, you know, the magic that's come out of that, where people can just be people again. They're not limited. They're not disabled in a virtual world. In fact, I was even talking to a person actually here not too long ago, who is wheelchair bound, and he was saying, you know, yeah, in IRL, people, you know, unfortunately, they kind of look down on him. They feel sorry for him, all this other stuff. You know, he has a little bit of social anxieties and stuff like that. So in the real world, it's kind of hard for him. But the moment he comes in here, he's just normal, and he gets treated normal. He's himself, and he said that has helped him. There's even been several instances where, you know, people with like debilitating social anxieties, all this other stuff, in the IRL, they have a very hard time, to the point where they have, unfortunately, thought some very dark thoughts. And they said if it hadn't been for being in a virtual world where they are detached from that disability, from this other stuff, whatever that affects them in the IRL, and just be a normal person again, it has literally saved their life.
Yes. And being on this show and being with Toki kind of helped me too.
Mm-hmm.
But enough about me. About the businesses on VR chat. And
yes.
By the way, sponsored by Vox Media.
Check them out. It's a great place to hang out at. If you're looking for a different type of VR experience, because I know a lot of us go to different worlds, and it's usually crazy kids and craziness and all that sort of stuff. But if you're looking for a truly different type of PC experience, VR experience, where you can go and literally hang out and have a good time, check out Vox Media's nightclubs. You will not regret it.
Yes, Vox Media.
Definitely.
All right, I had to get that in there. Vox Media.
But yeah, well, the thing is too, is that's another thing that's going to be coming here very quickly. I mean, people are making their living on in VR chat right now. They're small, they're few, but it's there. And with the next few updates, they're actually going to have a commerce system very similar to what Second Life had years ago in here. So it's a very realistic reality that people will literally be giving up their actual IRL jobs and working full time in VR.
Hell, I've been thinking of doing that.
Mm-hmm. Well, imagine this.
I found a job.
Imagine that you actually go to a store, pick up an item, and it doesn't always have to be a virtual item. Let's say a vaporizer. You could go into a vapor store, pick up an actual item, say, I like this, go over and purchase that item, then have the real thing shipped to you within 3 days.
Too far away.
Mm-hmm.
Just like this. I can order one of these right now.
Exactly.
Mine.
Don't touch another man's tool.
My spine. Mine.
Really, Rosie? Really? I'm supposed to eat the wrench.
He fits in.
This is how he gets his iron.
He fits in.
He's a new Toki.
He's gonna, either A, by the end of this episode, he's going to slap all of us, or B, he's going to look at all of us like we're fucking retards.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
For fuck's sake, Ren!
There it is.
Come on. A little more self-confidence in yourself.
This is normal for us. Now you know how Toki feels after we do a recording.
She literally goes in the corners like weeping. It's like,
because I have no idea what normal is.
What is normal?
He fits.
He fits.
I'm just wondering.
What is normal?
Yes, what is normal?
Anyways,
normal is a concept that does not exist.
Do we have any other do we have any other kind of like topic we need to bring up? Because I think we basically hit it all on this episode with
Yeah, I think this was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
We do want to hear from our viewers. If you have any ideas, comments, anything like that, please post it in the comments down below. We want to hear from you guys. If we have some good comments, we'll probably even post them on the show too. So like I say, like, subscribe, share, leave comments. We want to hear from you. We do have the meet and greet. What is coming up next week?
Yes, on the 17th.
Sunday.
18th.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday.
18th.
Oh,
18th.
sorry, yes.
18th.
18th.
So anyone who is in VR chat, you don't have to necessarily be on VR headset. You can actually come what we call pancake screen, just regular computer. Come and visit us, meet with us. Feel free to ask us questions. We can have a huge meet and greet. We're actually going to be debuting some new stuff, including our
17th.
Merchandise store. We have 17th?
October
Excellent.
17th.
17th. Yeah.
Be there on 17th.
Sunday.
Really?
Yes.
It's
You
like
had to go with the wrestling
but
theme,
smaller.
Rozzy.
Why not?
Okay. But yeah, definitely come and visit us, spend some time with us. It will actually be one of our shows. So we will actually be recording the whole meet and greet. Love to have everyone there, get to know us. So we'll also be debuting some of our new merchandise for our store. Some other exciting projects we have in the works. Yes, check out our stores. We'll actually have a link in the description down below for this show that you'll be able to buy an official 6873 t-shirt and even some other items. They are great. Everything that goes through helps promote the show and helps support us. And so we definitely would like to have everyone visit that too. So we do have some interesting new topics coming up and some new show ideas. Some of these were actually suggested to us by some of our viewers. So yes, we do listen to you guys. But yes. I think there's going to be some pretty exciting times coming up here pretty soon. So does anyone else have anything they'd like to share?
If you're interested, I'll try and get that picture of the hybrid motorcycle to put on.
I think Ken's going to start drinking after this.
What do you mean? He probably already is.
I wish.
He's already off his trolley.
Wish.
So another thing too, if you enjoy the show, please like and subscribe, share with everyone. Also, please consider our $1 Patreon. That's all we're asking for, just a simple $1 Patreon. And that helps us more than you'll ever know.
$1.
Yes.
$1.
$1.
$1.
Just one.
All right. Does anyone else have anything they would like to share?
Nope.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining this week on the 6873 show. We don't want to know about your browser history.
Nor does the wire.
Clear mine too. So anyway, we hope to see you next week. Everyone have a great day, and we will definitely see you on the next show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Potatoes.
French fries.
Potatoes.